All right, now it's Mazi Chinedumobioha in the studio with us. We still have him in the studio, and right now we'll go straight into the discussion segment for the day. I know something you've been waiting for. The Nigerian civil society situation room rated the gubernatorial election in Anambra State as generally peaceful, with widespread vote buying. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has suspended the collation of results for the Anambra State governorship election and fixed Tuesday, November 9 for a supplementary election in Ihiala local government area of Anambra State. INEC's chief returning officer for the select election process, Professor Florence Obi, announced this on Monday. In her words, she said, "We have collated results from 20 out of 21 local government areas." We have in the studio, we still have here Mazi Obioha. Mazi, what do you make of the Anambra Guba election? It was relatively peaceful as opposed to the fear of chaos and killings and all. But the election came out pretty well, right? Yeah, the election came out pretty well, but unfortunately, in fact, it is contrary to expectation. Nobody ever gave Anambra this yesterday, because I was in the studio that when we were discussing about that. Even the situation room, I was monitoring the situation room, and everybody was afraid of what was going to happen. But unfortunately, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Yeah, it was the fear. Nothing happened, and the election went on peacefully. Even I was also in the studio when the commissioner of police was interviewed. Apart from the pockets of violence recorded somewhere, even the commissioner of police denied, say he was not aware of it. So we sincerely want to appeal to this government. We need peace. We really need peace. Ordinarily, an Igbo man doesn't want trouble. An Igbo man doesn't want trouble. Doesn't want to make money. Just, you see, what we need is that it is the government in place that is putting fear in the life of people. Anambra man, I'm sorry to say it, this national television, in fact, we don't want APC in Anambra. And thank God that even though it has not been officially declared as ABGA as well, if there had been any mistake and they declare Andioba, there would have been more problem. Because they don't want Andioba. And why would no, the point is it because of the party or the individual in question? Individual. Okay. Look, they accuse me of having hijacked or kidnapped Ngige. They accused him there. Then another point is this: they now brought in the governor of Imo State to be the campaign manager. Uzodimma. And the Uzodimma is not loved by his people. Up till now, they say it's not our governor, and it's not their governor. That it is he is imposed on the people. And you know, somebody who has something like that, and you are bringing him to head. It's not possible. Look at what Wike did in Edo State. He did, very excellent job, and he left. And he now brought somebody that has K-leg, that people don't like, to be the campaign manager. What the worst thing that would have happened in Anambra State that if APC had won. Okay, but thank God they didn't win, and the people love Soludo. People, in fact, the two candidates they wanted to win, either Soludo or Ozigbo. But fortunately, Soludo is a decent man. And when he cast his vote, he said he doesn't want anything. He stood on the line. Even when the candidate rejected it, he was there. He said he will not jump the queue. But look at what is happening today, and he's going to be declared the governor-elect in the next 24 hours. It's a plot. Then another lesson we learn from that is that Igbo man doesn't want trouble. Look at since that Saturday till now, have you had any killing? Nothing. They know what they want. And of course, you know, other people, they are very rich. They are very rich. And it's a competition of who is who. But they said we need Soludo, and that is what played out.
All right, now, you've been talking Soludo, Soludo, Soludo. At the end of the day, PDP, I mean, APC, is still very much unsettled, you know, and they are threatening, of course. You know what usually follows.
But you know, Nigeria, we don't accept defeat.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But you see the point.
Even in Imo State, between APC, PDP, the PDP governor had won, was in office and actually started working. Before you know it, to everybody's surprise, we have an APC person there today.
You see, let me tell you, even that of Imo State, we analyze it on air. And I called my lawyer friend. He said the mistake PDP made was not have attacked those areas Ozorimo was pointing at. He said his votes from 399 polling units were not counted, were not included. That would have given him outright victory. They did not puncture that. They left it. And again, they did not attack, even though you said you had this 270 something thousand votes. Then ordinarily, INEC or PDP would have attacked it. They didn't say this is the right thing. They left it. So now back to this thing. Even though people, there's no election that has not gone up to Supreme Court. There's no election. You don't expect it, but except that of Edo. That of Edo did not go to Supreme Court because of the election result, because of the certificate palaba. Even APC, he played into their hands. You know, Anambra people, they are very wonderful people. He played into their hands. Imagine a few days election, the deputy governor jumped. And so many people were jumping, and they taught him a lesson of their life. Inconsistency in life is bad. No ideology. Where is a manifesto? This is a person who have been staying there for the past 8 years.
Can you
Suddenly, from known to unknown, from fire to frying pan. What are they going to? But there's another conspiracy theory that he played into, that it was even the governor that planned it to get the money from APC.
Mazi, looking at Anambra elections, would you say that it was more disorganized than organized? I say this because the election on Saturday, it was another election held on Sunday, and now they say on Saturday it was another one was supposed to be held on Sunday, and now they are moving another one to Tuesday for Ihala because of insecurity. And then there's a video of a boss conveying election materials. You see the state of the boss, and now the Nigerian civil society is saying that there was a widespread vote buying for an election that has been planned. It's been on the news for a while, even before it happened. So would you say they didn't have enough time to organize? Because if it was organized, one day would have been enough to have these things done.
Yeah, I think much as we blame INEC, we also blame the insecurity there. Before the election, there were so many fears. Nobody gave INEC to conduct that election. I was thinking that the election would be postponed. So having said that, now we come to logistics. It's not the first time we have been having problems in logistics. That now brings to my mind, why is it that during the 2019 election, I monitored it in Lagos here, some electoral materials were being conveyed by Marwa.
It's not supposed to be at all.
It's not supposed by even the Danfo. And I listened to the national chairman of Transport Union. They said they paid them, and some said you have to pay us.
No, they paid them. They paid 50%.
They said you paid them 50%, but because of fear of insecurity. But then there are some riverine areas they couldn't reach. Most times, even not only this Anambra, most times every election there's problem of electoral materials not arriving at polling units on time. There were some areas the ad hoc staff and the INEC staff, they were not there. There was one of the INEC staff that bought it away with about how many result sheets. The issue is that we are still learning. I said it. we are not in a war zone where you militarize a small state with so much huge number of security apparatus. The police sent in about 34,000 men. The civil defense went there with 24,000. You don't talk about the army. Fear of uncertainty. Look, you didn't talk about the voters' party. Who will be willing to come? But thank God they did actually come. There was a pensioner, an elderly woman who came with lunches. He said, we want to vote. Determination. We want to vote. We want to choose our leader. But there are some areas that you saw some huge number of turnout. There's some areas, can't it? You are talking about extension of. It's not the first time. Election was inconclusive as well. Kano inconclusive as well, because of the overzealousness of the politicians, and the die and do, or die.
Do and die.
Do die. That they want to get everything by themselves. Then, what actually happened? There were confusion yesterday whether the election was to be held yesterday. I was also monitoring when the commission, the INEC rec that was complaining, blah blah blah. There were controversial issues.
Yeah.
The man said there was. He says he's a lawyer. He came and said there was nothing like election in the local government. The woman now came and said he is an inexperienced person. Until the INEC Professor Florence Obi said, yeah, please know how you talk to my staff. I think everybody watched it, and they went out for break, and later, you see, the issue is this: until we begin to obey our conscience, respect our will, until we know we have moral right to protect, we have integrity to protect. Some of these people were not actually supposed to be there. Even during the general election, some professors, some even head of universities were messing up. They cannot even calculate. They cannot make a simple calculation. But thank God it went on fire. No, there was no death. There was no blah 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 blah. But even they say you will eat tomorrow. You are some minutes to tomorrow. You will still eat it. Now,
Mazi, there was much fear, of November 6th gubernatorial election in Anambra State not holding, and this fear was bordered much on possible violence, killings, destructions, and what have you. But at the end of the day, the election has come and gone, even though we still have Tuesday to go. A minute. Right now, people were those who were pessimistic about the conduct of that election were hugely disappointed. The optimists among them carried the day. To whom or to what can we attribute this peaceful conduct of the election?
The ipob.
IPOB or the security agency?
No.
Okay.
If IPOB had made good their threat, there wouldn't have been election. If they had insisted that, remember they came with another notion. They said, we are not saying nobody should go to vote, but what we are saying that nobody should stay at home. They didn't say don't go to vote. They said we are saying no movement. But thanks be to God that they listened to the voice of reason. And now, even though it was late, on Thursday they said they've accepted, everyone can go. And they even said they said there will be no monitoring team. We will checkmate whosoever. It's IPOB. Then it now tells you that dialogue is important.
Yeah.
Dialogue is key. You see, I said it here, you don't achieve.
So IPOB or IPO, is it IPOB now or IPOB? Whichever way. It's an acronym.
Yes.
Okay, now, are you trying to say that it was dialogue that made IPOB change its original position?
They listened to the voice of reason. On people of goodwill, we all started writing. I remember a lady attacked me on social media. Mature lady attacked me when I said I condemn this sit at home. I condemn that particular Monday. Our students were deprived of writing the exams. And I said, only God will help them unless they will pass it, because without English language. Until the woman who was attacking me, when he said, after all, you don't know I'm not her mate. And this is a woman who is, she said she's a little bit above 50. And she's talking to a person who is almost 70. When she realized, some of my fans now begin to attack her, and she now bow. The issue is this: dialogue is important. No women in Nigeria, especially we Southerners, right, will agree that there should be sit-at-home. Do you know how much we have been losing there? People cannot travel. And we have been complaining, I've said it on this platform, that those of us who travel to the east will know what to suffer. How can you travel from here to the east? You spend 13 hours, 14 hours on the road. On the road. I'm just telling you. My wife has said she's not traveling for Christmas, that because of her health, she can't spend up to 13 hours on the road. And I don't have money to fly her. The security should be reduced. Even at that, you are talking about security. Well, security is okay. Utterances, your comments has a lot to do. How can you say we will suppress them? The Inspector General of Police came and said we will deal with them. You don't say that. You win something by dialogue. What played out was people were able to talk to ipob and say, look at this. So they told the implication. I wrote about the implication because if there be no election, I know the government will allow it till March whatever, when the tenure of the present governor will expire. Then they will have an administrator there, impose it whosoever. Or if people didn't come out to vote, they will now impose somebody. And what should have happened was if Anambra had been declared the winner. Remember, the governor has started accusing APC that they've now written 10 results for 10 local governments. And Anambra also made some comments. Whatever. That was what we read, but we don't know how to read it. But the issue is that we thank God that it has come and gone. There was no loss of life.
But the huge deployment of...
that's what I say. No, it's not because of this. It's not because of that. It's
an upload or something.
Yes, it wasn't counterproductive.
Yeah. It was not counterproductive. But then the issue is that it helped to checkmate some hoodlums.
Exactly.
But the basic fact is that ipob withheld their sword. Look at now, even before now, they say no movement every Monday. Even the government in place will say, we have cancelled that. During the independence, do you see anybody on the street of Enugu or the South? Do you see any? There was none, except the hired people they carried to the stadium. That's it now. If ipob has maintained, look, if you are going, you are your own. No, you wouldn't have seen anybody.
Now, what about the Anambra citizens, who came out?
Who has died and come
despite
back?
all
who has died and come back? Who has died and come back? We thank God that peace took place. And that's the only thing, as the grace of God. A situation where the governor of Imo State was raging, talking, APC, talking. Ordinarily, my candidate personally, or not your own candidate, is Prof. and Osibo. They are thorough people. They don't make noise. Blah blah. If you listen to them, you know that they are achievers. But then the masses have decided. The Anambra people have decided. And you have to obey them. Because if you make what happened at Imo State would have happened, but thank God it didn't happen. So they will still go to court. And remember, I read somewhere that Justice Mrs. Odile has started pointing accusing finger to somebody. He said her governor from her Middle State, that the governor said she did not support him to be governor. It's still on this thing. I saw it. And the MBA.
But that's a mere allegation.
Look, I said there's no fire without smoke, or there's no fire without
smoke without fire.
Whichever. But the issue is this. The issue is this. Who sent those? I came here that day, and I was also on the platform, Galaxy, and I said, this is a pointer to 2023.
All right, Mazi.
And that is what happened.
Mazi, thank you
Everybody's
so much.
saying that.
Thank you so much, Mazi.
Yeah.
We don't have the leisure of
Yeah,
time
yeah.
to...
So much to talk about. The governorship election happening in Anambra State. I wouldn't think it has ended because we still have Tuesday to come. So we hope to bring you updates as things unravel.